Hi everyone, and welcome to Rum Runner Dance. I'm Dan Genovese. Today we're going to be making a classic tiki drink, Dr. Funk.
Oh, blow the man down, bullies, blow the man down.
To me way, blow the man down.
Blow the man down, bullies, blow him away.
Give me some time to blow the man down. We went over the bar on the 13th of May. Way, blow the man down.
Today's drink, Dr. Funk, is a classic tiki drink, one that is on the menus of almost every tiki bar across the country, and the great thing is, it was on almost all the tiki bar menus when tiki first started back in the 30s and 40s and 50s when it was in its heyday. Dr. Funk is one of those iconic tiki drinks that some people don't know about, or some people love it, and it's interesting in that it's a great drink that people recognize, but still an equal amount of tiki enthusiasts are like, wait, what is that? So this drink and its origins actually are really kind of probably one of the most interesting stories of a tiki drink. Now, a lot of tiki drinks, especially the ones that Donn the Beachcomber did and Trader Vic did, they created a lot of these backstories that were good stories, but not necessarily fact, around where some of these drinks came from. This one, however, does have some roots in some historical facts. So, for example, the drink is called Dr. Funk. It's actually named after a real doctor, Bernard Funk. Dr. Bernard Funk. He was in the South Pacific, and he was on Samoa, and on that island, he actually was not only a friend, but the physician to famed author Robert Louis Stevenson. It was kind of cool. But in addition to being a well-respected doctor and taking care of the people on the islands, he was also kind of a mixologist. And he was known to put together some of these types of concoctions for people to drink and, you know, to kind of help with re-inspire you where rum might fail or help you adapt to the heat of the island. I think it was just a fancy way of saying, hey, this is a really good drink it. So the original drink and some of the recipes that are kind of a little sparse on the very beginnings, but we know that it had absinthe, lime juice, soda water, and there's some that also had grenadine in it as well. So when you think about that, sounds like a cool drink, kind of tasty. Got that tropical component with lime, got that sweetness with the grenadine in there, and you have absinthe. But the big thing there with tiki that's missing, where's the rum? That would come later. So the original drink was, obviously, throughout the South Pacific. Donn the Beachcomber went there at different parts in his life. How much of this was fabricated and true is still completely unknown. But we know he was in the South Pacific at some point. So he probably was exposed to the story as well as the drink. Well, when he came back to California and in Hollywood and opened up his bar, he had on his menu a Dr. Funk recipe, which was based upon this drink. Now, he cut back on some of the absinthe, and then he also added in rum to it, but you still tasted the absinthe in it as well. Likewise, when Trader Vic came onto the scene, he also adapted this recipe. But instead of the lighter Cuban-style type of rum that, you know, was Donn the Beachcomber had in his drink, Trader Vic favored black pot-stilled Jamaican rum. Although some of his earlier works also said that he had Martinique rum, which, as you know from my ties, Trader Vic didn't always necessarily mean rum agricole from Martinique. Sometimes he meant the traditional molasses-based rum that came from Martinique as well. So some of that could be a little bit iffy. You probably noticed something just a little bit different. I'm wearing a little bit different attire today. Well, this sweatshirt comes to us from Creeper's Cove, and it's really like the guys down there. They're down in Kansas City, Missouri. Big shout out to them. Have some hooded sweatshirts, some zip-up ones, some t-shirts, all kind of cool stuff that they're selling. I'm going to put a link down below so that you can go to the store, check out the stuff that he gets, grab some stuff there off of them, help support them, as well as I'll put a link down to their Instagram page, and you can check him out there. He has some cool pictures. He does a lot of cool things with like horror stuff and tiki, and it's cool. Thus why it's called Creeper's Cove. Now, so let's get back in and let's start making the drink. Drink mixer here today. So, least expensive, most expensive. So we're going to start out with a lemon juice. We're going to want a ½ an ounce of lemon juice. All right. Next, lime juice. ½ an ounce of lime. Next, we're going to be using rich Demerara syrup, and that's my Grenadine. As you can see, they're really, really dark. They're both dark and close in color. So, rich Demerara syrup, this is what Martin Cate puts in his book, and he recommends this is a ½ an ounce here. So this is a 2-to-1 Demerara. Next, homemade Grenadine. Again, really, really dark stuff because we use pomegranate juice when we make this. So, a 1/4 ounce of homemade Grenadine, or a good, high quality, commercially available one, if you don't want to make it on your own. All right, awesome. Next thing that we're going to do, wipe our hands first. We're going to grab some seltzer here. You want some plain seltzer. Here I'm just using LaCroix. You can use whatever you want. And you're going to want 1 ounce in here. Just like to do this so I can rinse out my little jigger there so I can get all that deliciousness from the syrups in there. All right, next what we're going to do is something, it's new to us on the show, not new pretty much probably to most people in Tiki, especially if you have Smuggler's Cove book from Martin Cate. He recommends Herbsaint quite a bit. It's pretty strong. It's 100 proof, but like Absinthe, you don't want to use it too much. You want to use it sparingly. But in this drink, it's part of the big piece of the flavor profile in here. So we're going to use what I would consider to be probably a heavier pour of this. So we're going to do a 1/4 ounce. And this stuff is like green too. It's completely green, just like an Absinthe would be. It's great stuff. And actually on the back of this, if you do get it, it gives you the recipe for the official Sazerac cocktail, which is awesome, by the way. We'll do that in a future episode. So now on to our rum, all right? And like I said, Jamaican black pot distilled rum, you cannot go wrong with that. It tastes amazing. I didn't have it, but I wanted a funky Jamaican, and I thought, hey, why not pull in from that original kind of recipe that Trader Vic had around, maybe you could also use traditional-based molasses rum from Martinique. So I'm using Denizen's 8-year, Denizen's Merchant Reserve. This one, you've probably seen me mention it a couple times on the show. This is an awesome rum, really good rum company. Love this for my Mai Tai. I'll put a link to my Mai Tai episode up there and you can see me use it. It's really nice because you don't have to worry about mixing 2 rums to make your Mai Tai. And based upon what Trader Vic originally said, this blend is probably the closest thing of what he was actually making his Mai Tais out of. And that's exactly what this rum was originally made for, was for Mai Tais. But I found lots of other good uses for it, and this is one of them. So this is going to be a little bit heavier of a pour, so we're going to do 2 1/4 ounces. So with my jigger, that's going to end up being 2 pours. So I'm going to do the 1/4 ounce first, and now let's do 2 ounces. Okay. All right. Crack that. All right, next we need some ice. Need 12 ounces of crushed ice as always. We're going to flash blend this for about 4 seconds. Then we're going to grab our glass here. Today we're using a double old-fashioned glass. So according to Martin Cate, he uses double old-fashioned glass in his. You could also use tiki mugs. The Dr. Funk, which kind of changed its name quite a bit, you know, to the Dr. Fong, the Dr. Wong, the Dr. Funk of Tahiti. There's a lot of different names to it. It's often served in a tiki mug that kind of is more resemblant of Dr. Fu Manchu, but you can kind of put this in any kind of tiki mug that you normally would. Let's say that you would put like a Mai Tai in. Anything like that size, you'd be perfect for this. So we're gonna open pour this drink into here, right? See, we still have plenty of room in here. So we're gonna top this up with some more crushed ice. And a little bit more, get that up there nice and perfect. That's good. Next, garnish-wise, garnish is pretty simple for this drink. We're gonna get a couple of nice, albeit a little bit small, pineapple fronds. And then we're gonna tuck those guys right down into the back there. Just like to let those kind of hang out. And then I'm gonna go ahead and grab a little Surfside Sips. Little straw here. I like this one. This one is like their teal blue color. I think it looks real nice with this. And then I'm gonna go ahead and grab one of my rustic Woodrow coasters. I'm gonna take that guy, set it right there. All right, and there you have it, everyone. That is Smuggler's Cove adaptation of the Trader Vic's Dr. Funk with the rum runner substitution of using the Denizen 8-year rum instead of the Jamaican pot still. Let's go give it a taste. It's a good drink. It's really, really good. And it's a lot more refreshing than you think it would be with that much rum in it. And, you know, you're about 2.5 ounces here on like booze of the drink, which is kind of a lot sometimes that people would think, but it's a tasty drink. And it's not a hard, heavy drink. That's the one thing I always like to tell people. This isn't a heavy drink. The real big thing here about the pot stilled rum, the Jamaican pot stilled rum, you want a funky one. I have not made this with Smith & Cross, but I would think, I'm sure Martin Cate might not agree with me, but I think a Smith & Cross wouldn't be out of place here. It's really, really funky, and it's really, really pungent, and you want that punchy funkiness in the drink. Also, because you need something that stands up to this, the Herbsaint, or if you're using Absinthe, using that. You know that those are strong herbally flavors that are in there, the anise flavor in it. They're really, really pungent. So you need something that could stand up to it and that doesn't get lost with that. And that also kind of, you know, teases out with the other components in here. The sweetness that comes in from the Demerara is great. It helps, it complements really well to the Jamaican pot stilled rum. Citrus in here is nice. It lightens it up and gives it a little brightness. And then the Grenadine comes in and adds that little bit of sweet tartness that good Grenadine does. And then we lengthen it just a tiny bit with that seltzer water. Fantastic, delicious drink. Love this one. This is like one of my new favorite summer drinks. It's like a Mai Tai in this one. Like you have two hands, so you have a Mai Tai and a Dr. Funk. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but you know, you're sitting at the pool. Maybe you don't have them at the same time. You know, you put one down, you drink another one. So this way it doesn't look like you're double fisting. Anyway, go ahead, give this one a try. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in today for our Dr. Funk episode. Hey, don't forget, check out Creepers Cove, man. Look at their site, check out their Instagram page, and follow them. Like this video, subscribe to our page if you haven't already. If you have subscribed, you know, thank you so much. We appreciate all of you for supporting the channel. And until next time, everybody, Ole Maluna. Oh, yeah.